Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is The Interview. And today, butter tastes better. My very special guest is Scotty Butters. This show is sponsored by DistroKid, and we're going to check out one of Scotty's tracks called Keep. Let's Oge!
When we woke up, the sun was shining in our eyes. Headed out of town, north of 69. And on the road and running on caffeine and gasoline. And we didn't know the words to the songs we were singing. Oh baby, I'll keep you as long as you keep keeping me. Baby, I'll keep you as long as you keep keeping me. Remember how we met, two strangers online. The space in between us, nearly 300 miles. The time you drove 5 hours, I'll never forget. Just to bring me soup when I was sick. Oh baby, I'll keep you as long as you keep keeping me. Baby, I'll keep you as long as you keep keeping me. As long as you keep keeping me, I'll always keep you safe from hurt. I'll always keep my head in my word. I'm gonna keep my heart right next to yours. Together we pushed through weather when seasons were mad. The baggage that we carry is nothing compared to what we have. And you said, do you think you'll still love me when we're old? And I said, just hang on, I'm never letting go. So baby, I'll keep you as long as you keep keeping me. Baby, I'll keep you as long as you keep keeping me. As long as you keep keeping me, I'll always keep you safe from hurt. I'll always keep my head in my word. I'm gonna keep my heart right next to yours.
What's going on? Scotty Butters, ladies and gentlemen, that was Keep. My name's Jade, and this is The Interview. There's my name. Don't wear it out. I hope you're doing okay. It's Friday morning here in Australia, and I'm feeling heaps better, guys. So, woo, don't overdo it. That's the key, isn't it? Let me just fix this because I know Scotty's probably getting a delay. Boom, we fixed it up. Hey, you're doing well. Friday here in Australia, Thursday for the rest of you. This is my last kind of thing for the week, and I'm super excited. Been wanting Scotty on the show. I think I reached out to Scotty to come on the show 2 months ago, something like that. I first heard him singing and went, I like that voice. Let's get that guy on. All right, but things get in the way, and here we are. We're finally doing it today. But I need to remind you of something before we get into it because, of course, Today's show is sponsored by our dear friends at DistroKid. Hey, DistroKid, do you want to release your music? Do you want to be a superstar? Do you want to collect all that major revenue and be a high roller, eat caviar? See, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Well, DistroKid is your place to go. Well, it's at least a place to have all your music everywhere, so anyone can get it at any time. And with DistroKid for $24.99 annually, you can release unlimited songs, unlimited tracks, unlimited albums, unlimited lyrics. You go for it. You get a Spotify check mark. You can do royalty splits and split up all your earnings with other people who've recorded with you. You get a free mobile app, which you can upload all your songs with as well. There are 3 plans. There's the Musicians Plus, which gives you one artist and a bunch of these features. The Musician Plus for $44.99. You get 2 artists, and I'm on the ultimate plan at $89.99, billed annually, because I don't know if you know this. I got a lot of music that I release, and I've been releasing music through DistroKid since about 2016, way before they started sponsoring this show. So I was already loving DistroKid way before they sponsored me. Now, if you use my code, it's up the top, it's in the chat. Thomas is bunging in the link, our legendary admin Thomas, so you'll get 7% off your first year if you sign up. As always, you know what I'm going to say, DistroKid. I love you. Mwah. I know it gets creepy every time. I do apologize. I can't help it. It's mainly a relationship with me and DistroKid, so just keep your eyes away. All right, so as I said, I came across this dude doing a live stream, singing, standing there with his Taylor guitar, and I heard his voice and just was like, now that's a voice. I'd like to talk to this voice and find out what's behind it. So I hit up the buttery man himself, and we eventually got his. Let's just bring him on and talk about him. Let's just do it now. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, 35 years making music, this dude. Let's bring him on. It is indeed Scotty effing Butters. Welcome, Scotty.
All right, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Wow.
I like the intro. Scotty effing Butters.
You know, I'm going to tell you something funny, my friend. And by the way, welcome everybody in the chat. We see you. You know the deal. We normally talk for a bit and then we'll give you a shout out later on and all that jazz. Scotty, there's this really old set of ads here in Australia. There's this guy named Peter Russell Clark. And back when I was a kid growing up, he used to be the spokesperson for butter here in Australia. And his his catchphrase was, butter makes it better. So I went through the archives to find out if I could find some of these video clips of Peter Russell Clark talking about butter. Let's see if I can get it out for a bit of fun.
Footage sourced from the Australian Television Archive.
It's very old, is that? Whoops.
G'day. Naturally natural food comes from the country. And they're proud of it. G'day. Hang on. That's my line. And that's the pretend cow with its pretend butter. You know, processed oils, artificial colouring, artificial flavourings, preservatives, stabilisers. But real butter is simply dairy cream, churned the way nature intended, so it tastes better. So think about what you're eating. You'll come back to butter. It's only natural.
Oh, I need those. I need the.
I'll send you some links. There's some funny stuff in there, definitely. The irony is that guy was respected in Australia here as a very kind man. He was a very. Oops, I've got your echo on. He was a very kind man. Everybody loved him and trusted him, until one year a whole lot of blooper tapes came out, and he was the most foul-mouthed, horrible man off camera. So his whole reputation was no longer buttery smooth.
Like, F this butter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's all great. That's fine.
I'm asking directly. So is Butters your real last name?
Yes.
Wow. Now,
yes.
That draws parallels to a character from South Park.
Yeah.
Have you
Things were
heard?
rough before that. Things were rough before that. I'm gonna tell you. Things were rough before that. But then
Well,
they threw that in there. And then,
well, yeah. Look,
no.
school is full of assholes. Let's just say that right now.
Right.
So, did you? Was there anything you went through having that name? The people, lining up, and going, "Listen here, butter boy."
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but yeah,
Right.
like I remember in grade school, teachers would even get into it, like call me Parquet and stuff like that. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, what?
But I really like, yeah. But now I don't know. I embrace it now. I mean, I think I'm stuck with it now. I could have changed my name years ago and I didn't. So, it's too late now.
No,
We're
look,
stuck with it.
I love it. Look, you get handed things sometimes, and we're very, very, very quick to look at the negative of things, aren't we, as a species?
Yes.
But if you take a little bit of time, you can turn into an absolute marketing windfall. So,
Right.
was there a moment when you kind of went, you know what? Let's just make everything a big plate of butter, and let's just go for it. And let's use the puns. Was there a moment where you had that light bulb and it took off?
Yeah. I mean, it's been just recently, because of the meeting everybody here, and Axe and Nacho's great. And he started doing like buttery puns and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is so much fun!" And I guess what changed it from, like, all my life, people have said things, that they thought was funny, but they get old after a while. You hear the same things over and over and over. And with Axe and Nacho, I didn't hear the same thing over and over. We're coming up with good ones and funny ones, and we sometimes, yeah, I don't know. My wife is having a blast with it. She loves it because most of my life I have been kind of like too serious. I mean, I love comedy. I love laughing. We're fun, but when it comes to like the music and stuff, I've always just been too serious. So I'm trying to loosen up and ride the wave and have fun. That's why I'm on here in the first place.
I like that. I like that you're having fun because music should be fun. Obviously there's a serious side to all music. Yeah, it depends on what you're writing, what topic you're writing, or how your career wants to go, and all that. But I
Got to
mean,
work with what you got.
yeah, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? That's always the thing. Let's get to my first major question for today, Scotty Butters. What the F does music mean to you? Dropped right in the deep end, folks.
Well, I mean, right. Um, well, I can't remember a time in my life that music wasn't uh what I was doing or what I was gonna do. I don't remember a time, like, music has always been just there. I don't know how else to explain it. Um, and I've been singing since I could talk. Maybe not well, but we started. I get in trouble all the time in in school, and sit out to the uh hallway and stuff because I
Uh-oh.
couldn't stop running my mouth or singing thing. I'd be real singy songy about stuff all the time. It's just
So,
like the little kid want to sing everything all the time.
so you're a
My dad,
troublemaker. You're a troublemaker.
well, I mean, kind of, yeah, like an entertainer. It's like I wanted to entertain. My granny would always push me to say, like, hey, come over here and show, would show the neighbors what I can do. Come over here and do the moonwalk. Show them how you can do, or what, She had me. I was a Michael Jackson fan. But yeah, no, music, it's everything. It's my whole entire life. I mean, my whole entire life I went through people telling me, hey, you got to get a job, you got to do this, you got to go to college, you got to do, and all I could think is I just love this music and it's all I know. And everything else felt wrong. And it felt wrong for a long time until I finally, figured that out. Until I finally figured out that that's, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, that's what I'm here for. And I think that I've realized that more than ever in the past, just say 12 weeks since we started this. I did my 11th Tuesday, just did that. And more than I've realized more than anything how much it does mean to me. So that's a very good question, because right now, and now up to this date now, it means even more because I think I took it for granted a lot. I think we're given gifts and we're given things and things set right in front of us. And the universe says, here you go. And you can look at this way and go that way and not pay attention to what's happening over here. Or you can kind of follow your gut, kind of your gut brain. And I don't know. It's just always been there. Always, always, always. I've always been tapping on something. I've always been doing something. My grandparents, Played. My mom just sung in the car a lot. So, but that's how I learned though. We had a little bit of a 20-minute commute to town because we lived out in the sticks. We drive around in this great big Oldsmobile, great big boat, great big thing. I'd stand up in the front, back when you didn't have to be in a car seat, 6 or 7 years old and just sing it. And that's the funny thing. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember saying I remember singing so many songs, but there's some that just stick out. And I remember my mom hated. I loved I love the funnest stuff. Rod Stewart, if you think I'm sexy song, and my mom hated it. But as a child, I'd dance in the seat and stuff. I was into it. But she was, but yeah, but that's, I mean, it means everything. That's how I've connected to everything. A lot of people think I do. I think they do that. They connect music with their lives and their memories and everything. And mine's just been, I, I don't know. I feel weird saying things and saying things that I hate to be grandiose. I don't mean to sound grandiose, but I feel like I've ignored my purpose for a long time. And I think that ignoring your purpose like that, when you're here, you're formed, you're evolved, born here to do something, that's your responsibility. And for me not to do it is disrespectful to everyone watching this and me and my family and the universe or God, whatever you believe in. It's disrespectful because not I took it for granted because I don't think much of myself, and I'm starting to realize that starting to drink the Kool-Aid and figure out that people do, it helps. People like it. So
It's hard with music, isn't it? Because it's connected to us. When you're making music, it's part of you, yeah? But then
yes.
you do it for so long and it feels like sometimes that you're pissing into the wind because there's nothing coming back, and you empty so much of your soul and everything into it and then nothing comes back. So I can fully see coming on here and having a smash of love just makes you go, well, hang on a minute. The skies are opening up. It's the same thing when I came on here to YouTube as well. Hang on, people actually care about something. All right, cool. Let's push. Let's do everything we can to help people get better.
Right.
And that it really helps. Even just one person is saying, "I really like that song." It changes everything because it really does feel like,
Yeah. Absolutely. And I went years going, people coming up and saying, oh, I really enjoyed that song. I really, like that's a song that I shared with the family, or whatever, a family member that I've lost or something and that kind of thing. And then just, they would come up and say stuff. And I'm just like, well, this is how much I don't believe in myself or I don't like myself. I'm like, there must be something wrong with this person if they like me. Cause you know what I mean? Like, what I mean? I don't even trust, and I guess, it comes off as because I've been playing out, and at venues and stuff for a while, and for about 12 years, 10 years, something like that. And they, I think for the first about 8 years of it, I think I probably came off a little arrogant, like I didn't, and that's not what it was. It was more about I didn't understand why people would want to spend time with me. So people try to talk to me after gigs or whatever. And I'd talk to them, but I'm just like, yeah, and whatever, and now I'm like, well, what's your name? And I talk to them and I ask them what they do. And and it's so, I mean, it's just, it's so much better and to be a little more vulnerable because that's, for me, that's what it was, being vulnerable to be like, hey, I deserve to have this conversation with this person. They deserve to have the conversation with me. We both deserve to share information and connect. I mean, we're here for a reason. So, and I would kind of blow that stuff off, try to be, I get in my head a lot and get into that fight or flight mode where, you're there, but you're not. And so
Absolutely.
I'm there a lot more. I'm there a lot more now. And it's way, it's, man, my heart, it's overwhelming. I get so emotional about it because it's just so much. It's a lot.
You touch on a very interesting subject. Something I want to do on a rant soon is how people are perceived as arrogant when you're a musician. Especially when you're playing live gigs and you got a gig and there's other people performing before you or afterwards or whatever, and we all have things going on in our lives apart from the performance that's coming up. So, in our tiny little minds, we all know it, imposter syndrome, all this stuff. We have to balance all this crazy cuckoo stuff, all the stuff that the politicians do that we try and shut out, all this. And then you get to a gig and someone comes up and says, hey, and you're like, hey, how you going? But you're kind of in that moment. And then all of a sudden the rumor going around is, hey, that Scotty Butters is really arrogant. I said hi to him once and he just shunned. And that one interaction is now who you are. It's a very hard thing to rustle up and then reel back in. For a long time, I had to deal with that. How would you go about that now when you play a gig? Because I see you playing live gigs. Somebody comes up. Are you more prepared to engage and nurture that moment?
Yes. I used to, if we were like, if I was setting up and somebody would come up and talk to me, I'd be like, I would just continue to do what I'm doing and kind of like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'd listen to them, but I'd be like, at the same time thinking, I got to get this stuff done. I got all the things I'm doing. Now I think I've played out enough that I don't have to think about what I'm doing. It almost happens. I could probably sleep and just do it. Me and Mood Elevator both. But if people come up to me now, I stop what I'm doing and I turn around and I talk to them, and they'll say whatever they're saying, and I'll respond to them a little bit, and and always I've been trying always now, and I didn't used to do this at all, but I ask everybody's name. I never remember them. I never remember one name. I can't remember it 5 seconds after I ask it, but I do ask them. And I think that it means something to ask because it is going into my subconscious. I do hear it, and I know that people appreciate that. I would appreciate it if it was me. If I was talking to somebody that I just watched them play and I really enjoyed it and I respected them, and I wanted their attention for a second, that would make me feel good for someone to ask me what my name is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it is super important.
So I take a lot more time now. And then after the show, yeah. And then after the show too. After the show, I'll sit there and talk, sometimes for hours I play a lot of private parties, and a lot of those private parties I'd go in like it was my job, like I catered it or something. They ate, I'm out. You know what I mean? And, and I'm done. I cleaned up all and that's what it was like. It was like it was catering music to it. And I mean, essentially that's what you're doing, but it's got to be more than that, because I mean, if I have any regrets about all that, from this point of view of what we're talking about, being present and talking to people and stuff, I missed out on taking pictures at so many weddings, so many birthday parties, graduations, anniversaries, funerals. I've played everything, and not that all those places might not be respectful to take pictures. I don't know, and maybe they didn't want me to take pictures, but I wish I would have got a picture with all of them. Because now I try to get a picture with people, but before I was like, why would anybody want to have a picture with me? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't want to have a picture with me. I don't like taking pictures, so I'm like, why would anybody want to take a picture? But so now I try to make it a point to at least have Mood Elevator. She takes snapshots and stuff and tries to get the crowd a little bit, because I don't know. I think that stuff's gonna be really fun to share, and it would be nice if I had 10 years of that, but I don't. But hey, you live and you learn, and we got 10 more years ahead of us to do stuff, so we'll do that. And but it's a lot better. It's a way more fulfilling. Life is way better. Everything you put out there comes back to you, and I'm telling you, it's coming back a lot. And I'm very grateful.
I agree. And I think one of the keys to being a successful artist, even beyond the music, is just being authentic and straight up. Like, people just identify. They do. They feel like you're not shitting in their pocket.
Right. And I think but the trick is that's the scariest thing to do.
Of course.
Like, if you come on here, you want to act like you're something else. And I think that it took me a long time to even start doing this. I'm a way late bloomer. I could have been doing this a long time ago. No regrets though, because I learned everything I need to learn on the way. It's happening exactly the way it needed to happen, because I'm not the same person. 10 years ago, I would not be able to get on here and talk to you.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. It's not the way it is. And now, just in the last 12 weeks, my in real life venue gigs have turned like 50%, just more joy and just more better. It's just more better. Now, because of being on here with everybody online too, it's changed it's forced me to talk more. So it's forced me to do the talking. It's forced me to really connect with people and get to know people. And I say force, but you know what I mean? It's like really kind of like, it's gotten me ready to be a better public speaker, because I feel like I'm not very good, but I'm getting better. And it's about just believing you're a good public speaker. You know what I mean? If you believe you're a good public speaker, you can kind of do it. But if you're like, I can't do it, you just ruin it for yourself. You can defeat yourself pretty easily.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
try.
Oh, yeah.
Been doing it for you.
Oh
I've been
yeah,
doing
we all love this thing up here. It's a wonderful thing that we don't understand how it works. Thanks for being here in my head, screwing up my
Right.
entire life. Let's get to my second question that I hit everybody up with. No, I can normally do this stuff where I go, well, who's your favourite artist? But I don't like doing that. I like do you recall
Started thinking right away.
do you recall the music that was played in your household by your family members? And did it haunt you? Did it scar you? Or has it left an impression? And who were some of those artists?
That's a great question. I like that. I got some good answers.
Awesome.
So when I think, well, the first thing that sticks out is Led Zeppelin. I had a lot of old country in my life too, but that doesn't stick out as much because I was, I stayed with my grandparents and they had a lot of they did a lot of old country and stuff like that. But but my mom and my dad, well, they were all, hardcore, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. Um, but I think some of my first memories and one of the things that really made me love music is Led Zeppelin. And the particular song I can remember, when I was, I can't remember the first time I heard it, but I remember the first time I thought to myself, wow, what are they doing with the timing of this song? Black Dog. It was
Oh
so
yeah.
amazing. It made me, I mean, that opens up music. That makes music totally different. To hear that song, for me, it changed everything. And I think, let's see, that's one thing. And then connected to Led Zeppelin, one thing that will maybe want to, okay, I want to get off that. But you got to be careful. I can ramble. I can ramble.
Hey, it's your show. Like
So
whatever. This is what it's your show. You ramble how you want to ramble.
I appreciate you. Appreciate it. I think my mom liked James Taylor a lot when I was a baby. It's kind of neat. I found an old tape. It said, I found it, and I don't even know where it came from. I have no idea how I got it. I don't know if it was my grandfather's stuff or what, but it was before my mom passed, and I found it in stuff that I had, and it was just an old cassette tape. I've still got it, and it said, I think it said, was it 2 months old or 3.5 months old, or something like that? Two and a half, 3.5 months old. Scotty written on it. And I thought, what the heck is this? So I put it in, and it's my mom as a teenage girl, laughing with her girlfriends and stuff, and me as a baby. And I could hear me making noise and stuff, and they kind of talk to me and stuff. But in the background, all you can hear is James Taylor. And I can't even remember what song it is, but it's James Taylor. And I've always felt like not knowing why, but through my whole life, I've felt a connection to the way, like, because I've always thought of James Taylor, he's kind of like a minstrel, like back in the medieval days when he had, he seems it seems really old like that, medieval,
Yeah,
because it's, the folky part. And
absolutely.
so I've always been connected to that. So it connected me to that. And I've played nothing but, I started playing acoustic and I've really played nothing but that. I mean, I've got electrics, I've got bass, I got all kinds of different instruments, but mostly just play acoustics. And I think that's probably part of it. And then another big part of what inspired me to do things in the music that I loved is I do appreciate, appreciate a good Rocky Top, a good old country tune, Rocky Top, you know um some of that old Johnny Cash stuff, some of the old outlaw country. I love that stuff. And I had a lot of that in my life too. Not a lot, but some, about 25%. And then the rest of it was like, when I was a kid, like I said, I I liked Kiss a lot. I was a big Kiss fan, but my parents would never take me anywhere or
Oh,
take me to the concerts because of the fact that it was too loud. Because that was the big thing. Kiss is too loud. You can blow your eardrums out. They can't take a little kid there. So I'm like 7 or whatever, 7, 8. I want to go, but they won't take me.
yeah.
So I loved
Not the
Kiss.
fact that they're spitting blood everywhere and all that. It was
Right. The fire, none of the demon stuff. Yeah,
yeah,
none of
yeah.
that stuff mattered. You know, pretty sure we discussed that while they were smoking a joint. But I'm like, I want to go, and they're like, listen, we can't go. um, but yeah, we had some wild times back there, back when I was a kid. But yeah, it was a lot of partying, it was a lot of rock and roll lifestyle type of stuff, and Zeppelin was definitely a big thing. And then later on, a little bit later on in life, when I was approaching, being a teenage boy, we got to my stepdad and my mom. We would go to a lot of play. He was a biker, and we'd go to a lot of like swap meets, and we'd go to there's a biker, like they had like a bike club, and stuff. And then there's like Abate as a bike organization, and we go to a lot of like poker runs and just parties to raise money for people and stuff like that. So I think I get some of my kindness from that, even though my stepfather was, I mean, wow, what a piece of shit. Anyway, not worth the
Yep.
time. So, but I say that, but I will give him at least this much. Um, my mom couldn't handle me. And I'd interrupt people. I'm a talker. I go a million miles an hour. I always have. I bet my wife is worn out. She's tired because I've been doing this 20 years, 20 some years. And it says, I don't, I said, how many hours I sleep today? Two, 2.5.
You got
Slept
to
two and
get
a half.
some more sleep, Scotty.
I went to bed. I went to bed at what, noon or something. I don't know. Went to bed at noon and got up and then started getting ready for this. And um, once I started doing this online stuff, I get way less sleep. I was getting sleep. I guess that's not my baseline, but yeah, I've
You
always
need to
been.
find some balance there. Trust me, you'll
Oh yeah,
balance
yeah,
out
absolutely.
because
Oh, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna crash. It's
yeah,
gonna get me.
yeah.
Um, I'll probably take a nap right after this if I can keep from doing a live stream.
That's
Um,
become a bit of a meme this week. I think I've said it each time I've mentioned him. Like, if he's coming on the show, if he's not live streaming for 9 hours,
I can't believe I went 10 hours that one night.
oh
But,
no,
you know, I,
12.
I only went 10 hours that night because there was 40 some people in there and I felt like we were having such a good time and I hated, like I was telling them for 45 minutes how I never, how I never, like even 2 weeks ago, I would have never thought in a million years I'd be like, well, I'm going to get off here and I'd shut it down with 40 people in here. Because I mean I know 40 people's not I'm not setting the world on fire or anything, but that's a good group of people and where they're having fun and stuff. And I always hate I'm not good at goodbyes. I hate goodbyes and I hate shutting it down. But to keep on going with the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
question,
sure.
I'm feeling pretty good at staying on point. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm
Yeah.
weaving in and out of this. No, man, for some reason maybe my camera looks a little blurry. I don't know why. But we're not going to mess with that because then I'll break something. So then later on, though, riding around in the car, we'd go to all these places, and it never failed. They wore this tape out. They had Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band live with a bullet or what I can't remember what it's called, something like that. But it was a live album. I think it might even been. I don't know if it was a double album. It seems like it was, but I don't know. But it was a great song. I mean, all great songs. And so there's Bob Seger there, and I feel like Bob Seger was a big influence on how I sing. I mean, I don't know that I tried to sing like that or if I just had the voice for it and I was drawn to it because of that or, what came first, chicken or the egg. But wow. Yeah, I really dug the way it's like I felt like it had a lot more you know, um girth. So, yeah, a lot more like I like the gravel, like the dirt and the pain, the soul, the pain,
Yeah.
and that's um I got that from that and I think. And then what really broke me and what made me really start to learn to play guitar and really take it serious because I was in bands. I wrote songs when I was a kid. We got some good episodes of stuff coming up because I mean, if I can get myself to make the videos and actually put myself out there, I've got some really good songs I wrote when I was in seventh grade that we all will get a kick out of. And they're going to be fun. But I've been doing, I've been kind of just playing a rock star or whatever for a while. And I was in bands, we'd start bands with the kid. None of us knew how to play anything, but we'd start bands. I remember when I will give you this. This is funny. I'll give you this one little tidbit. I'd say my very first band I was ever in. I mean, I guess you could say it was my very first band. It's the first one I ever remember. And I was in it with a cat named Brent Day. And I'm friends with him on Facebook. I don't talk to him a lot. We lost touch and everything. But I mean, you know what I mean? We see pictures and such. But Brent Day, and that was like one of my first bands, and his dad was a musician, and so was his brother. They played guitar a little bit or whatever, bass and guitar, I think. Craig played bass, but we had a band, and the name of the band was Scotty B and Fantasy. Oh, and so you can only imagine the songs too. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But so yeah. So that's going to be fun sharing that kind of stuff too, going back and saying here, on my channel and stuff, and show a timeline and show pictures of me and how I ended up like this, because this is just since 2020. The world went crazy and hair grew out. That's
the inconvenience came along and everything changed.
And I was like,
I was watching one of your videos and I'm like, is that Scotty singing, or is he just hired a band? What's going on? I think it was in the closing with. So
yeah. Well, both, because I did hire a band for that video, and
there you go. But it didn't look like you at all. And then the more I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, wow! I love seeing that. The way people can change.
Yeah.
Let's play a song. Let's play a song. We'll come back because we've got 6 to play today, so we just want to make sure we get them all in.
I was just going to say one. If you want to finish up on this question, I just want to say one more thing.
Go for it. It's yours.
Hit me over the line to do it, to go ahead and get myself playing guitar, playing drums, doing stuff, just picking up instruments and doing it, because I have a lot of hard time getting to do it. I have ADHD. But real fast though, I had this my first girlfriend, the girl that she took my virginity. I lived in Seymour, Indiana. That's where another side note. Mellencamp. John Mellencamp's from Seymour, Indiana. I went to the same high school as him, not at the same time. He's a little older than me, but there's a lot of influence in that, and my songwriting and my voice and stuff too, I think. Angie. So first major girlfriend, lost my virginity to her. She wants to go to this show of this local band. I'm like, okay, let's go. She takes it, we go and everything. And I'm watching, and I'll never forget this is connected to Led Zeppelin. They started playing rock and roll, and the drummer's like, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm watching it. I'm like, this is really cool. And I look over to tell her how cool it is. And I see this look in her eyes that I've never seen before. And I'm like, I'm looking at her. I'm like, well, she's like, oh my gosh. And I thought to myself, I want other people's girlfriends to look at me like that. So then I was like, so I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. But I mean, when I seen her looking at it, I was like, wow, that is, because I love music, and it was the clear path I should have done. I was just resisting because I'm lazy. I was like, I don't want to put the work in. It's a lot of self-discipline to learn how to play guitar. It ain't easy. I mean, some people might be natural at it and just pick it up and do it, but not me. It was it's hard.
It is, but the things that are hard are normally worth it, aren't they?
Yep, exactly. Things you don't want to do. That's what I've learned that recently. Everything that I don't want to do, if I do it, just pots of gold at the end of it. It's great. So I love it.
Just throw everything at it. Like, it's, oh, look, I could tell you stories. Let's play a song. We're going to play Jackson County, USA. Now, all the stuff we're playing today, folks, they're all original tracks, yeah? So just so you know that, let's play it. Let's get Ogen, and let's do it right now. This is Jackson County, USA by Scotty Butters. Let's Oge, baby.
Well, she was just 17. Mama was carrying me. She'd met the boy next door and thought he was everything. And everything she could ever hope for in a man. But he loved the bottle more, and he beat her with his hands. But like so many things in life, he just wasn't worth the fight. So she packed our bags and we made our way to Jackson County, USA. Well, that's where I found a friend, a best friend still today. Jamie's house was 2 doors down from my place. We paved the streets with trouble, just looking for some girls. And we sneak beer and whiskey any chance we could. Like so many friends of young, we lost touch when school was done. We grew apart, I left and he stayed. Jackson County, USA. The DJ overplaying Mellencamp and she knew her way around. And after I left, Mama got sick and Jamie had a son. And I finally realized how important that town was. But like so many times in life, it's too late when you finally find what means more than a 5-hour drive. So I go back now and then, see my family and friends, and I always stop and sit in Mama's grave, Jackson County, USA. Jackson County, USA. Jackson County, USA. Jackson County, USA.
Hey, Jackson County, USA. Let's bring Scotty back in here. Make sure I've got his musicians thing turned off so he's got no delay. Hey, great song, my friend. Great song.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's say hello to everybody here because there's 35 lovely souls who have joined us today. Now, folks, the chat moves pretty quick, so if you type something, anything, call me names, whatever you want, just so I can see you, find you, and call you out because I love doing the shout-outs. Tristan Green is in the house. We've got Jenny Jollivet, Chad Freeman, Paws and Guitars, Joe and Barry Glenn, Thomas Christ, Allegra Tiller, Paws and Guitars, I already said that. Bonfire, Robbie Stingle, Denise, hello. Who else do I see here? Hugh Caldwell, The Mix Club. Hello, Mix Club. I loved your black stream the other day. Just testing as always. I love it. I was there watching you test. Ridiculous. Barry Glenn, g'day. Miss Stephanie, what's going on? Who else? If I've missed anyone else, I know there's lots more people. We've got Justin Kasperick. We got Chris Lane Senior. My list only goes up to a certain point. If there's anyone else, I saw somebody joined as a member as well before. I can't go up. So whoever that was.
That was my wife.
Oh, was it?
She done it.
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
Elevator.
And if you are a member, just know that there are Scotty Butters secret emojis in the chat because we all have fancy emojis, so you can throw Scotty's head around and they'll float around the screen, or you can throw big plates of butter just like that. Awesome. Oh, I love ChatGPT for making bloody things like that. Oh, Studio 6+1, what's going on? Jamie Lynn, hello. Leela Verse, she's saying hello. I hate missing people, man, but I always do because I'm just terrible and I can't see for shit. Even with these glasses.
That's good to see you, chat. Good to see you, chat. Much love.
Good to see you. All right, Costa. G'day, Costa. Costa is my favourite friend. He's our resident stalker. Never give up where you're living or where you are because I'm always joking with Costa. We love Costa. All right, let's get into it. So, do you remember, Scotty, the first album that you purchased with little Scotty Butters' own money and the first album that was given to you as a gift? Let's go. It's a tough one.
All right. So let's go one at a time here. So the first album I bought as a kid, I want to say see, with my own money, if I'm talking about with my own money, then it would probably be Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil.
Yes. That's wild. That's a pretty wild album.
Yeah. Well, I loved Motley Crue. Yeah, Motley Crue's awesome.
Have you seen them live?
Yes, I did. I don't remember it. It was so long ago. It was on the I think it was on the Girls tour though. So it was like '89 maybe. Yeah. Something. He had the drum set went upside down. All that.
That was Dr. Feelgood. That was Dr. Feelgood.
I saw them
on that tour as well. Yeah, that was, and they had this big spinning drum kit, and then halfway through, Mick Mars did a guitar solo where he had all his guitars laid flat like keyboards, and nearly every single person in the venue went to go get snacks during that bit. I remember it clear as day.
Wow.
It's like, what is this noise? Bring back the spinning drum kit and the nurses with big boobs.
Right.
Wild. Good
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Motley
yeah.
Crue.
I think it was oh God. What album had Wild Side on it? Was that Girls, 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 or was that
Yeah, that,
God,
that was on Girls,
didn't
Girls,
Wild
Girls, I
Side
think.
have the Wild Side didn't have the spinning thing? Anyway,
Maybe
it
they
doesn't
did
matter.
it.
I
Maybe
don't
they
really
did it too to us. You know, it was a
right. And I
gimmick
don't
that
even
he loved.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, nobody else is doing that stuff, so why not, right?
His only other gimmick was he was dating Pamela Anderson,
Oh
and we
gosh.
know how that went.
Right. Yeah, that I think that's yeah, but I think that was one of my first albums and um Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction was one that was right in there.
What a
There's
great
a lot of
album.
really close in that same time period where I was, teenage boy and teenage angst and a little bit of money because I don't know, mowed a lawn or something, who knows, or my mom just gave me some money probably. She
That
spoiled me.
that Guns N' Roses album, very strange album because like I was a big metalhead when I was younger. I still am now, you know. And
Right, right.
I used to go to this very small boutique metal store that had very underground German thrash metal and stuff. And one day we're in this shop, a very tiny shop, and me and my mates are in there, and the guy behind the counter went, "Have you heard this?" And it was Appetite for Destruction. And he put it on, and because it was, glam rock or whatever, we were just like, that's rubbish. And never heard it ever again. 6 months later, it just exploded because that album sat for a while before people jumped onto it, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and
It's a little
then
different.
yeah, yeah, and then they were just everywhere.
Well, they weren't as I mean they were in the glam stuff, but they weren't Poison. They weren't
No,
they
no,
weren't Poison or what's some of the other ones? I mean, a lot of Warrant, a lot of those. Even Motley Crue had a lot more. I think had a lot more glam in them probably.
yeah,
Probably maybe.
they just weren't wearing the lipstick.
Right, right, right. A
They
little less makeup.
yeah, they hadn't got to the point where they were going through their mum's clothes yet. So it's it's all good.
Oh man, growing up in the 80s was crazy.
Wasn't it?
I can't,
Scotty, it's
it was,
weird, isn't it? Because in the 80s, there was all this like Boy George, and no one gave a shit. We were all just going, yeah.
right,
These days, you even mention gender or anything, and people go, oh, it's the end of the like. What happened?
right.
Where did we go wrong,
But
Scott?
I don't know because that's what I've been saying. I was like, back in the day, I remember like, I thought we made a lot of breakthroughs.
Yeah,
I was proud of the breakthroughs we made in the 80s and just through my whole entire life. I felt pretty good about how, things, but you know what I mean? Like, everybody has their different perspective for sure. And there's always somebody getting left out of something or whatever. And it's hard not to be, like that. And it's tough out here, man. It's rough out here. This world is a tough place. It's
yeah,
not easy.
yeah. It's going off the
Sure.
rails very quickly. And music, we're in a really good position. I think this all the time. Whenever the world spins out of control, I just go, ho, 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 it's not going to be long before the rest of the world goes, hello, musicians, we need some help up here.
Right, right.
Because we've done it before. Musicians have done it before. We did it in the 70s, turned it around.
Yeah. Yeah. And I watched this, actually, I don't even think I ever finished it, but I think it only had one season, but it was some show I think it was called Station 11. But anyway, the real cool thing about it is that it was kind of a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and it was about this band that traveled around from town to town, and they would play music and put on like shows and all that kind of stuff, like down to the bare minimum of what you can do, because everything's gone. So they're doing it, on little wood stages in the middle of a field, stuff like that, like you would in the 1800s probably, and give or take. But it was really cool because I had that thought to myself. I was like, if everything goes, completely whatever, and we are on horses just taking trails to different places, I've always got something to do. I'm always going to have a purpose. Yeah, that purpose isn't going to be destroyed by that. The music will survive for sure.
There's always a campfire somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
there
my
you go.
motto.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk school and music and stuff. I always find this interesting because around the world, different countries treat music different with education. Here in Australia, me growing up, music was very at the forefront of my education at that period of time. and we were able to join bands at school and play at other schools. And we had very robust music thing.
That's awesome.
I want to know if you had that, and were you involved in it at school? Were you in a school band? Did you have to learn the recorder?
Why don't I? Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes.
did you like it?
I don't think I did.
I don't think anyone
I don't
does.
think right. I don't. I think the wind instruments always. No, I was never interested in those that much. I think I was always interested more on like beating on things or strings. I think more than I guess I don't know. That's what was the question?
It was all about the recorder. That's all I care about. I'm
Right.
hoping
That's what I got stuck on.
Yeah, I'm hoping one day someone's going to come on and go, yeah, I had to learn it, and now I have a huge collection of them.
And then you pull up all your different ones.
It's never going to happen, is it?
Play big long solo.
But
In fact, I probably would think.
what was your school like? Did you have lessons? Did you get offered music at school? Did you have a school teacher? Did you have a school band? Anything like that?
I remember another. This is a good thing to bring up because it's another key moment I remember that pushed me to music, which was I think fifth grade, sixth grade. We had a music class, and I don't remember exactly how it was all structured or anything, but we had a music class. We went there. I don't know if each class took turns going to this other class because I remember we had to go to another class, but we would go there and. We would learn the recorder. Everybody had like different instruments and stuff. But the only thing that I can really remember out of it, because this is how I am, because I think I've been trying to like fight or flight, trying to survive my whole life. But this is the one thing I remember, and I swear I was just talking about this 2 days ago with Mood Elevator. I was talking about. I remember his name and everything. I think I was telling her all the deadly sins is what got me into music. The lust because of the girl, my girlfriend loving the thing, and then you also hey, I can get paid for that, so you got a little greed there, but a little bit envy, maybe jealousy, and so I'll never forget. We were in this music class, and the teacher said, "Hey, you guys can bring an instrument in if you bring it, or whatever, and Travis Sweeney, I remember his name, Travis Sweeney. He um, he was kind of a popular dude." And I wasn't, I'm poor. He was a little more, well off, and that's good, good for them. And but Travis Sweeney, and he had a brother Sweeney, and a big name kind of thing, and they were cool. But everybody looked up to him, and I guess I did too. I must have, or whatever, and at least jealous of him or envious. And but he brought his guitar in, and another good track that I can pinpoint what shoved me to doing this whole thing. And that is he came in and he played guitar with the track, and he played the track Rock of Ages by Def Leppard. And I was like, I mean, I knew the song already, but he came in and played it, and I was like, fuck yeah, man, if he can do it, why can't I? Well, I mean, come to find out, it took me a little bit longer than that, but I mean, but I mean, it was really cool. It inspired me, and it pushed me to compete with him, to want to be, and also just that was one more notch of me trying to pick up the guitar. That was one time that I picked up the guitar. I'd play a little bit, maybe learn a chord or something, but I'm like, man, this thing's hurting my fingers. I'm gonna have to put this down. And then I wouldn't go back to it the next day. And then, because what you got to do, you just got to go to it every day. And before you know it, by the time the week's over, 2 weeks, your fingers don't hurt that much anymore. But you got to just keep going. And I've been doing it ever since. Just keep going.
Pete John says it every day. Practice makes progress.
Yes.
Because perfection is a figment of our imagination, an unattainable dream.
Yeah, I keep trying though.
Oh, of course, we're all going to keep trying, absolutely, because that's the dream. That's the goal to go for. I was going to say something, and my brain's just melted.
Well, let me. I'll finish up real quick. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was I had a little bit of music there, and then I didn't do any band or anything like that. I don't know how to read music now to this day. I don't really know how to do much of anything when it comes to music. I'm totally just doing it out of instincts, natural instincts and heart and gut and just whatever. And I mean, obviously experience. I mean, you do it long enough, you do anything enough, you're going to get it right.
Yeah.
So I guess. Um, so yeah. So then to add to that, so like seventh or eighth grade, I'm not sure, maybe seventh, I went to, I joined choir because I love to sing. And I was like, hey, maybe that's what I should do. And I went in there. I didn't really like it. It was too, it was too, I don't know, lame. Like, oh, this is lame. We're not singing Def Leppard. We're not singing. But I do actually do. Now that I say that, though, I do remember that we would have days that we could bring in music, and I remember I brought in Twisted Sister, and we listened to Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it, I think, is what we listened to. There's a couple good ones. I Want to Rock. It might have been that one. I don't know. Yeah, I fucking love it. But yeah, I think I brought that tape in. But I don't remember learning. Like, I was very um defiant and knew everything my whole life. I do everything the hard way and figure it out. I have to figure it out on my own because I won't listen. It's not I don't want to listen to anybody, but and I do pretty good now. I think my wife's got me trained pretty good. She's got me where she's got me where I'm doing pretty good. Like, I've always got work to do, but
Has being defiant helped or hindered you, do you believe? And how have you, what steps did you take to work around that, to move past that? If you have.
I think, well, I think I was being defiant against like I wanted to write songs and write music and learn music through a process of not somebody else telling me what to do or what the rules are, because I thought that way I wouldn't see the road or whatever, and I would be able to just do whatever I wanted to do, and it would give me more freedom and wouldn't hinder my creativity. I don't know that that is correct, but that's how I felt. And that's where I went with it. I think now looking back, I think probably a good idea to maybe do some of that, more the learning, academic. Uh, Try to you know I guess I didn't trust myself enough to know the rules and then to know how to break them, maybe. And the problem is if you don't know the rules, it is hard to know how to break them. So I think it hinders a lot, and that's how I kind of went about it. I didn't being defiant, like because I had people teach me stuff. That when I first started playing, the guy that sold me my weed, he played guitar, and I was like, hey, why don't you show me a few chords? And he showed me some chords, and we were on our way. But I think my whole time that I've been doing it, I'm not like that now, but the most of the time, the 80% of the time that I've been doing this, I was being defiant with like I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to learn this, try to do it by ear. I'm not even great at doing that. I don't think. Sometimes I can sit there and try to figure out a song, and I just cannot. I don't know where I'm all over the place. I don't know why I can't figure it out. It's just And then other days I'm spot on. Um, but I did not have any music training, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I think being defiant, it hindered me. It definitely slowed it down, but I look at things differently because I don't think that everything was different then. So even if it didn't hinder me, I would be a different person then, and everything wouldn't be the same. So it's like everything had to happen the way it happened. I hate to sound, I hate to sound like that guy, but everything just had to happen the way it happened. And I have regrets, and things would have been different, but hell, things would be totally different. And who knows? And I'm extremely. I can tell you this. Uh, I am the richest brokest person I know. I mean, I seriously, I mean, I'm just recently realizing how broke I looked at my wife one day and I was like, we've been poor our whole life, haven't we? And she said, yeah. And I was like, I never really thought about it because I mean, I like shiny things. I like toys and I like big houses and I like all that stuff and I like music equipment or whatever, but I don't know. I've known that's a problem. Materialism, being materialistic is a problem. I mean, I know we all do it, but it is if you can get sucked into it. And for me, works for me. I'm not judging anybody because I mean we all do it and it's a part of life, and I get that. Um, but I think sometimes things mean more to people than they should.
Mm.
And I mean, I'd much rather feel the way I feel right now and feel full like that. I mean, as long as the bills are getting paid, I'm good.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's, and not to brag and not to jinx myself or anything. I'll knock on some wood or whatever. That probably don't work. I mean, superstitions only work if you believe in them. That's how those work. But
Absolutely.
yeah, you have to believe in it, and then you'll just will those bad things happen. But I think that uh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang it. Um, I forgot I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, it happens.
Um,
We're
where was
get-
that back?
We're getting on, aren't we? I was going to touch on something you said there, relating to defiance, yeah, because I was in the same place,
Yes.
very defiant about music first, which is okay, right? Who needs lessons? Some of the greatest artists in the world have not had lessons, all that stuff. With music these days, I feel like there is not enough defiance in music anymore, right? Not enough danger. I've been saying this for years on this channel. People don't take risks anymore with music, and that's why music is impotent these days. Everything's about
And if you
product placement and how many clicks and views instead of what does my music actually impact? But then there's the other side of it of you. Are you a naturally defiant human being who pushes back against everything? And if you can kind of balance the you bit and kind of just give a little leeway and not be such a, no, I like it this way, then you're going to move forward, I think, in the music industry. As keep challenging yourself musically, but with everything else, just, yeah, whatever. All right.
Yeah, and you're seeing me right now loosened up.
Yep.
Like if I look at my timeline, I can picture it in my head. It's just a cone. It starts out right here, and I'm just holding on, and I'm loosen up, and then and it's just getting so much better now because of that.
Yeah.
And because it is a you gotta learn to bring some of that stuff in. So in other words, I'm saying that I've brought in some learning. I did a lot of years without learning anything, and now I've learned things on top of that now, and it's kind of like it's gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
I had a fire going, and once I added that to it, it kind of opened up my whole world. And I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, well, shit, I should have done this 10 years ago or whatever. But again, wasn't ready. We weren't ready. We wouldn't even be here together. I wouldn't even met you, and what
Absolutely.
kind of world, I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Can't live in that world because it's already gone. I mean, it just went now, so it's over. We're at a halfway point. I need to run my ad because today's show, as I've said, is sponsored by our good friends at DistroKid. So let's do that.
Thank you.
Let's hear from our good friends at DistroKid right now, my friends. Let's oge. This presentation is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Introducing DistroKid, your ultimate music distribution solution. For just $29.99 a year, DistroKid empowers you to release unlimited tracks on all major music platforms worldwide, including Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, and so many more. Plus, use my link distrokid.com/VIP/JadeStarr and get 7% off your first year. You'll also keep 100% of your royalties and gain access to valuable tools like instant verification on Spotify and detailed revenue analytics. Don't let your music go unheard. Join DistroKid today and take your music career to the next level. Thank you, DistroKid, for sponsoring today's presentation. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, DistroKid, for sponsoring today's show. Couldn't do it without you. And as always, you know the drill, folks. I love you, DistroKid. It's a relationship. Don't question it. All right. So, no, but honestly, DistroKid is a great place to go to release your music. Been with them a long time and we love them. No, you can't skip the ad. Laurie's Mishmosh. Hello, Laurie's Mishmosh. Bling, Bling, Cole. If there's anyone I've missed, Shelley, Michelle, Morrison. I'll just do a quick scroll before we come back. E. Urban. Hello, Tony Howie. I saw Pete Johns up there earlier as well. Did I say hi to Pookie? Hello, happy birthday. Joel Crouch as well. I'm an idiot, aren't I? And I love it. Wouldn't change it for a second. Oh, and I've got to say hello to Mix Club again. Hi, Mix Club. I love you. All right, let's come here because what I'm going to do now is before we come back and have Scotty on, we've got another song to play. I'm going to play Miss You More by Scotty Butters. Are you ready, folks? Grab your ankles, grab your drinks, grab everything because we're doing it right now. Let's oge. This is, I'll get my shit together. This is Scotty Butters, Miss You More.
Mama, don't you worry, I'm not coming home. But I've still got this old guitar, so I'll never sing alone. Time for me to go out and find out who I am. I hope you keep fighting till you find yourself again. The house must feel so hollow, cigarettes and whiskey, and I think about you there alone, and how you must miss me. There's better things to do, sit around with worries, 'cause we're getting older. Hell, I'm in my 30s, and I'll visit again next spring, when brighter days get shine. You're not that far away, and I miss you more this time. Last month of my stay, last time I was there, I helped you back on your feet, even though you were scared. And we'd spend our days just talking about everything we'd seen, the years of good and bad, and how you were proud of the man I turned out to be. The house must feel so hollow, cigarettes and whiskey, and I think about you there alone, and how you must miss me. There's better things to do, sit around with worries, 'cause we're getting older. Hell, I'm in my 30s, I'll visit again next spring, when brighter days get shine. You're not that far away, but I miss you more this time. Mama, don't you worry about not coming home, 'cause I'm here now and I won't have to do this on my own. And I know when I look up, we see the same moon, and I found this old picture of you. It really brightens up the room. The house must feel so hollow, cigarettes and whiskey, and I think about you there alone, and how you must miss me. There's better things to do, sit around with worries, 'cause we're all getting older, yeah. Hell, I'm in my 30s, I'll visit again next spring, when brighter days get shine. You seem so far away, I miss you more this time. I miss you more this time. I miss you more this time. And I found this old picture of you. It really brightens up the room.
I got to unmute myself. What's going on? Wow. Dude, here's the thing, right? So, great songs, original songs. As soon as I came across you doing a live stream, first thing that hit me was, what a voice. I love a good voice. I'm a vocalist. I teach vocals for many, many years. And when I hear a voice, I go, bang, jump on it. I hit you up straight away to come on here. And then I went through your catalog and listened to all this old stuff from this album. I think most of this stuff's from the 2015 release of your album. But what a voice. And so did you always sing? Was the singing first? Is that the major thing? And how's your voice developed? Like, I'm not a... Vocal lessons are not necessary for anyone, so don't ever take that. Look at Kurt Cobain, right? One of the greatest singers of all time, greatest albums of all time, and the dude sounded like somebody was strangling him most of the time.
Right. So, Seems like somebody need to call 911.
It's the way it is.
Help this guy out.
So what's been your vocal journey?
I feel like I feel like I could always sing, since I could talk, or at least trying. And I did choir a little bit, and we did that. And I don't know, I didn't get that whole thing. And I've always I just love of music, and I've never really had any training. I don't even know. I mean, I assume that I'm doing pretty good at it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, it sounds good. I'm my own worst critic, and I'm starting to figure out that if I think it sounds good, it's like writing songs too, I'm always like, I don't know if it's any good. Well, I mean, if I like it, it doesn't really make a difference. And if I like it, then, I share the taste of many other people. We all share a taste. So, I mean, it's one of those, it's my overthinking brain.
Of course.
Right there.
Yeah. And, you can't teach tone and natural, like it's just a thing, right? I used to have people come in for singing lessons, and you get the usual shit. They come in and go, but I want to learn a Robbie Williams song, and it's like, I don't give a shit about that. I'm here to help you sing, right?
Right.
But the thing is, some people come to you and they just have a tone, and it just is coming from the way their throat was manipulated in the womb. You can't teach that shit,
I think it has developed though.
Right.
I've always had a pretty high voice. I'm a little feller. So, I got a thinner voice and stuff. And so, the way my voice is now, that's a whole nother thing. I could sing 30 years ago, but not like I do now. I mean, people be like, you do really good. They could, if you could do the contrast of those, which we're going to be able to, because I have old tapes that I recorded back in 94. So we're going to be able to do that kind of stuff and compare. And I don't know how, I don't know if it's like years of smoking weed, years of drinking. But my voice has always been I've always had that little, like my kids, don't they? You think? Mood? Okay. My kids have, I hate that you're sitting behind the camera, because when I talk to you, it looks like I'm talking to them. So, they have that kind of, just kind of a unique, I don't know. I think it's a nasally, I don't know what it is, like a nasally kind of weird thing. But, and I think mine's just developed, I think, from just doing it over and over, like the practice of doing it, the practice of putting my voice through it. And, you really have to get some of those notes out. You really have to belt them out. And you talked about how, your throat is, or this and that, or whatever. And that's a whole nother thing. I mean, I know I can't just sit here and just, not make a face and then sing notes. Like I'm really sore after a show, and it's weird. I don't know why. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's like I'm wringing the words out of me.
Yeah.
And I have to twist around and stuff, and I to get things to come out the way for the sound of it. So I have to completely ignore the fact that I'm making a fool out of myself when I'm, what I'm looking like. You know what I mean? I have to ignore that. Like I have to pretend like I'm singing in the shower, and I'm dancing like nobody's watching, and that's how I get the good vocals, because the good vocals come from all the pain, and everything that I've suffered as a human being. And that's how I get it out, and that's how I share it. And that's what I mean. Like I was put here to be shit on, and then to put it simply, and then take that and turn that into a positive that changes other people's lives and spreads the opposite of what that is.
Love it.
So I've got mine 1 times here, and then 1,000 times the love that outweighs this. But it's for me, I don't know. I'm just really an emotional person. So that song was just playing, and I was I got a little sobby there. My wife told me to pull it together. Pull yourself together. You're on an interview. This is the last chorus. What are you doing with your life? I was like, okay, I got it. No, it wasn't quite like that. But
I think as
because I wanted to
singers,
say,
do you think as singers we forget sometimes that we're a living instrument?
yes, yeah,
And that's
Yeah.
going to make me put on my mum hat now and say, this is why I said you need more sleep, man. Because look, when I used to teach singing, Scotty, I would sit there and one of the first things I'd say is, how's your sleep? What are you eating? Are you getting exercise? And people wouldn't come back because they're like, what is this? And it's like, you got to understand that the emotions, the anxiety, the not being able to pay your bills on time, all this shit is so important as a singer. As a guitarist, you can pick up and bluff your way through it. But if you're not feeling well as a human being, it's going to come through that voice, right? And like what you're saying with pain and all that kind of stuff. And it's with authenticity. Sometimes it's just best to get up there and just say, I feel like shit, everybody. Hi, welcome to the gig. I feel terrible. This has gone down. And then just emote and everybody will cry the fuck with you.
By the way, how are you feeling? You feeling good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is my
So you're
favorite
a little-
day of the week.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you said you felt a little under the weather earlier, so early in the week.
I was early, so it started Friday last week. But yeah, I'm picking up now, and there was
Hey, you look good. You look good.
Thank you, mate. There was stresses going on. This YouTube thing is a lot more than just, and you'll know this. Anybody who does any live streams or does YouTube, it's a lot more than just getting here every day and going hi, because there's shit going on in here, and there's stuff going on that's out of your control, and you got to get up every day and be on. And that's really hard to do for any, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about big ups to everybody who gets up and live streams and bears their soul, because the world's spinning a bit wobbly at the moment.
Right.
So if you're doing that and getting up and being able to, not put on a mask, but just smile through it and bring joy to people, then you deserve a pat on the back. You watching this as well too.
Yes, absolutely. I think I wanted to say too about the if I can remember now.
It happens.
Oh, the song, Miss You More.
Yes.
I got upset thinking about it because I just said, I said to Mood Elevator, I said, Mom would be really tickled to death about all this. She'd get a kick out of it. And I had a, so I was in a contest with that song. I didn't win the contest, but we did good. It was a national contest here in the States, and I came in second. I didn't win it. It was to go record an album in Nashville. So then I did it's crowdfunding and made merchandise, and everybody just helped me pay for it. And then I went to Nashville and recorded that album. But when I did that, and I did that got that contest, I met a young lady, Brenda Webster, and she's the one singing on that song with me. And so I met her because she had cancer, and because that's the whole thing, that song, I lost my mom to cancer, and that's how I met I met Brenda, and we became good friends. And she, she was in remission. She had breast cancer, but it came back pretty aggressively, and it was her bucket list to go to Nashville and sing, and I thought it'd be great. And we did that. So long and short of it, so I can get through it. It's nice that her daughter has that.
Ah, man, I feel your pain. Cancer can go, should I beat myself? Cancer can go itself. The first beat for the day. I lost my mum to cancer, and every day I think about it. I was only 14 years old, and you know what? This sounds really weird. I don't want people to think I'm sick in the head, but if it wasn't for her passing, I probably wouldn't have done most of the things in my life that I've done, because she was constantly there. That that's a funny thing when you lose somebody so long ago, and you have to make a decision at an early age because you're young. Do I pick to remember the bad shit of when she was dying, or find one thing that will drive me forward. And that decision is one of the most important decisions you'll make as a person, because, you know, you sit and dwell on it.
Yes.
It'll kill you. It'll eat you up.
Yeah. It took me a couple years, but I did it. Because I quit playing I even quit playing. I didn't play at all. I worked at Bob Evans. I
Wow.
was working at Bob Evans, and yeah, working at a breakfast restaurant and flipping eggs and stuff. Again, though, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Though I met a lot of cool people, and
Yeah.
and it made me realize I didn't want to do that anymore. It's like, well, after I lost 2 years after I lost my mom, my wife lost her dad in a motorcycle wreck. So, so that was all of a sudden too, and it really makes you, a lot of my life I go through life thinking I'm going to do things tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And for about 2010, I realized tomorrow ain't always going to be here. I better do something. So
It's a hard
here we are.
balance.
Here we are on the road.
Let's talk about this 2015 release of your album, Diggin My Grave, recorded in Nashville. What was the experience of that? Because it's a beautiful album. I've got it right here on the screen. So it's available on all streaming services. By golly gosh, heck in hell. Scotty Butters, why are you not on Bandcamp yet? You can work that out for yourself, but you should be. You should.
I'm trying. No, I'm so not with the text. I know I didn't grow with the times. I was busy being, I was what? Yeah, I need help. I need professional help. No,
that's what my psychiatrist says to me.
Right. Yeah, I need that too. No, I'll get some. I just now put it on Spotify, and I know everybody's like, well, who cares? You got it on Spotify, but I have fans that have wanted it on Spotify this whole time. I'm sure they don't care now at this point, maybe, but I finally got it on there, and so I was proud of that. And it's just, I don't know. You get intimidated by things,
Sure.
when you want to do something, and it's like a lot of whether it's paperwork you're filling out or whether it's something you're looking at online, you get intimidated by all the things, and maybe you don't understand everything. So, and to be honest with you, we were talking about it earlier, but one of the things that's really propelled this whole situation, made it possible for me. I mean, not to mention me, me working and making money to pay for some of the stuff, the equipment to make it happen, but also what's made it happen is that the wisdom I have gained from Chat GPT. I swear, like that's how I got online the first time. I was like, I almost had it, but I just could not get my sound. And if you're going to do live music, it has to sound at least, semi good. And I couldn't get a good sound out of it at all. I just sounded like I was underwater, and it's just all these things. And I got all the equipment finally, and I started asking the Chat GPT things, and sometimes it gives you the wrong answer, and it's like tells you to push a button you don't have on your thing, and you're like, I don't have that button on there. And you're like, oh, you're right, that's the updated version, and then you fix it or whatever. But it's helped a lot. It's been I mean that a lot with Chat GPT doing that, and writing a lot of like the posts and stuff, and doing some of that stuff, administrative work kind of stuff that you'd have to kind of think about, and that helps write it, and then you can kind of tweak it a little bit if you want or whatever, but it helps move it along. And my whole thought process in this whole thing is, I don't have to regret that I didn't do this 10 years ago, but what I can do is think of it as that I've got time to make up. So instead of thinking like I got 10 years ahead of me to see what I can do with this YouTube thing, like what I could do with, what I would do in 10 years, I want to try to do in 5 or less or whatever. I just want to move forward as fast as I can. And it's a lot of learning stuff, because just editing videos, that's a learning curve, just all the different things that go with it, and even just filming the video. I haven't sat down and even filmed a video. I just went straight to streaming live, and now that's what I love to do. I love getting on here and interacting with everyone. I thought it was going to make me feel, I was going to be weird, and I was the first few times. I didn't talk a whole lot. I probably played 150 songs that night, because I just played one song after another and just wouldn't look at the camera and didn't look at stuff. I'm like, hey, chat, thank y'all. But but once you get into it though, once you get going and stuff, and and I'm blessed. I can't take credit for it. I can't take credit for all of it. I have the talent and I'm doing it, but man, it would not even be close to possible if it wasn't for people like Axe and Nacho. I had basically what most people get on here, and I think they get on here and they probably play, and I've done this before, get on here and you might play for like 2 or 3 people, maybe 4 people, and like for a couple hours, 3 hours, whatever, and you'll play for a while, and not a lot of interaction. Nobody really wants to talk and chat, nothing like that, even when you have people, and man, you go over to Axe and Nachos and everybody's just like having fun and this and that. And I don't know how I found Axe and Nacho, if he found me or if I found him, but I go over there and he's promoting my songs, promoting my videos. And by him doing that for a full year before I even got on, almost probably for a full year, it didn't seem like a full year because I was working on trying to get on. So I was like, I'm working on it. But all the gigs I play in the summertime, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I am so when I got online and started this, I already had a built-in audience, kind of.
Yep.
He already promoted me so much that I already had, like, when I started, I had a built-in like 15 average, I think, maybe 10, 15 average. And that's nice. That's nice. And not bragging it anyway or whatever. I'm just saying that, but I wouldn't have had that just because it was me. I mean, sure, they're going to come and they're going to stay because of me, and sure, it might grow because of me, but in the very beginning, and even growing, it's not even me. Everybody's doing that. Everybody is sharing it out and they're sharing it with their people. And the only thing I can do is play, I play every song like it's the last time I'll play it for you. Because you don't know, I might not see you again. So, and
True.
so I play every tune like that. And I do want to say, going back to the album,
Mm.
because that's what you asked me about, and we've got
It
way off.
is.
I do want to say that I'm starting to learn how to put that pain and that soul, because I put a lot of soul in all these covers and I live them. I apply them to my life and I live them. Whether it's an old love that I lost, or old, or it's something about my wife or something about, what I mean? I put it with my kids or just whatever, being young, whatever it applies to. And so then I do that, and I really apply it, and I live through it like that. And then with my own songs, even though they're my own songs, and I know this sounds weird, as I'm saying it, I'm realizing how crazy this sounds, but I feel like I don't deliver them with enough soul because it's my work, and I believe in it, but maybe I don't believe in it enough. And I'm starting to realize that now, and I'm doing that. I'm living. I'm putting that all that soul and the pain and all that stuff into it more, and believing in it. And most of that comes because I've gotten on here and people are just all the positive feedback you get. I mean, I enjoy the negative, not negative, but constructive criticism, criticism. Because if you don't tell me if something's wrong, then if you keep telling me my sound sounds great, and then I go back and listen to it and it sounds terrible, then that's not good, because that's not helpful.
Yeah. It's
Um,
that's a tough one too, because you can ask the audience and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" And then one person can say everything's great, and then another person can say everything's shit, and then
right, right.
you're stuck going, "Well, which one is it?" Because there's a 12-second delay, and whatever I change, I'm going to ask, and I'll have to wait for. Sometimes
Right.
it's just best to get through the stream, get it done, and then work on the sound later, because it can derail a show completely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a tough one, asking people if the sound's okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, we had some moments like that, but mostly it's been pretty good. I'll go back and listen to it sometime and be like, man, that guitar's a little hot, and to me, maybe it's not bothering anybody else. Maybe it sounds different. It depends on what you're listening to. You're listening on a phone, it sounds different. If you have to listen on your 65-inch TV with your stereo, your surround sound system, it's all different. It's all going to sound different. I've noticed that too. I listen to it on my sound system. I'm like, that don't sound right. Um, but anyway, so
Absolutely.
like
And it's like when you master music. Like on my Patreon, I master people's music. For $1 a month, you can join.
Okay.
I'll master
Okay,
your
yeah.
song. And
Nice.
and the thing is with that, you master it on your monitors, and then you've got to walk away straight away and go play it on a tiny little speaker, and then go play it in a car speaker, then go play it on this speaker, so you can get a general overall. Does it kind of work on everything? And then
Yes.
that's your master. So perfection doesn't exist.
Ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So does that change every time? Like every time you master like a song, each song, does that change, like, or do you have it kind of dialed in to where you're like, well, you just have to tweak it a little bit to get it to sound good on everything?
Well, we live in a day and age now where I use mastering software that is based off this huge
I help.
real
Okay.
world console that already has major presets and stuff that have been used for big artists, right? So it's pretty easy to dial in. But of course, you've got to take into account each song is individual and people record with different techniques and people have different levels of recording. So,
Quality and everything.
and my service on Patreon is not only mastering it, but hey, if I hear something and go, man, these drums are a bit too loud here, you need to go back and fix that before I master it because I'm putting my name on it. So,
Right, because then when you master it, it brings those drums up even more, and then the drums are out of control.
Exactly.
Now you got a problem.
Drums and vocals always come up and guitars, bass kind of always gets muddy. There's so many factors, Like last week I was mastering a song on the Patreon and I'm not going to say who it was. They sent in a song. They put a brick wall limiter on the end of the mix. So the song was just this square sausage. And there's no way I can master that because if I add any more compression or limiting to that, it's fucked. So
there's no dynamics.
Yeah, so I had to say live on the stream, here's the problem. You're going to have to go out, remove that limiter. We'll fix it up next week. And that's you see, this is the thing with some of these shows here on YouTube, Scotty. Like we've got Amazing Thomas Christ here and so many channels that play people's music. If you give an opinion on a song that you've just played and go, I reckon the vocals could come up there, it's too late now because they've fucking released the song. So critiquing and adding has become a thing you can't do anymore. These days.
Yeah.
Do you think recording? So I want to get back to the recording in Nashville. So did you get what kind of experience did you get from that? And what was the setup? Did you go in? Did you pay a studio to go in and engineer and take your music in there? How did that come about?
Okay, so I wanted to go record in Nashville, and I was like, and I came across I think my dad. I don't have a great relationship with my dad, but he digs the music stuff, and he sent me this contest. And it was for a studio in Nashville. They were running a contest for you could do like what was it? Was it a 6-song? I think it was a 6-song EP or something like that, 5-song, something like that. And you could just you could enter a song or whatever. And my dad said you should enter this song about your mom into this contest. Or just, I think that's what he said, or at least just, you should enter this contest. And I had put the original video of that I Miss You More up. And so then I put that, I entered that and it did exceptionally well. It did way better than I ever thought, for sure. Which was, that was one of the big, that's where I kind of graduated, you level up in your career or whatever. And I've leveled up a lot in there because I realized I could write some music people wanted to hear. So that's cool. So what happened was we did that contest and I met a lot of people. Like I said, I met Brenda and she sung on the album and everything. She came with me and she sung on a couple tunes. I ended up getting second place in the contest, but then crowdfunded like just through like merchandise and just through playing gigs and tips and just talking to people and people helping out. We did it and I went to a studio. The studio's the 515 studio in Nashville, Tennessee. And what a great place. It was a really neat place. They have I guess basically the bass player and I think the drummer, there might have been a few other, there are 2 owners there. And they had there you go. And they're beautiful people. It's cheap. In my opinion, I won't say cheap, but I mean, for what you get, the money you spend at this place, you can do, I'm not sure if that's the same price, but right now, if you went there, you can do a song for like, I think it's $795 and you can have 5 players on there and they bring in like top notch players. They have like the guy that did the, slide or the lap steel on my album, was a guy that, had toured with Kid Rock. They were just all session players, but they play, like the drummer, he was a country singer, John Anderson. I don't know if anybody knows who he is, but what, swinging? Is he the swinging guy? John Anderson? Just a swinging. Yeah, that guy.
Yes.
His drummer. Yeah, he's the drummer that played on my album. At least his current album. I don't know if he's the drummer that played on that song. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of just session musicians, they fly them in, they're all buddies and everything, and they were just incredibly kind. They were very efficient. It was kind of neat. I would go, I contacted them. They wanted me to give them like rough draft of the songs and everything. Um, and then we did like production notes and stuff. And then we had like a production meeting, and I talked about kind of what I wanted the songs maybe to sound like, as far as, what we were doing. Cause, obviously I had all the session, I wrote all the lyrics and the composition of it for the most part. And then made all the decisions, but we had a lot of good players on there that just blew me away, because we did the production meeting, and then we went in there, and I played along. They listened to the track once. They'd listen to the track that I'd sent into the studio. They would listen to it one time, and then we would play it, and I would sing along with them as a scratch track, I think.
Yep.
Hey, that's what happened, right? I feel like at some point maybe they recorded it though. I did the scratch track once, and we recorded the scratch track. Yeah. But what was blowing my mind though is that they were just so good. They listened to it. We kind of knew where we wanted to go with it, and just they'd go in there and just boom, nail it. And almost every single track on that album, they did in one take, except for I don't know. I think "Diggin My Grave." That one little. Well, not on "Digging My Grave." I think that was another tune. One time, yeah, the one time the bass wasn't being recorded. You could see him in the booth trying to tell everybody. Like, he's like, if I was dying in here, you guys wouldn't even know. But yeah, oh, Rod is yeah, man, they really good people though, really good people, and I went there. I tell you, side note, I went there and did all this, and we recorded. And after we did even production meetings, and we did half the recording stuff, they went out to the bar. Half of them will go out to the bar with me. We went out to the bar, and we went to a place called Santa's Pub. The Santa's Pub is it was the number one dive bar in America at the time. But we went to Santa's Pub to sing karaoke. And so these guys from the studio, they took like, I don't know, just you know, they became friends, and very inspirational and encouraged me a lot. They uh they compared me to Chris Stapleton and asked me if I'd ever heard of Chris Stapleton, and I hadn't heard of Chris Stapleton at that point.
I love
And
that when that happens.
the producer guy that was there too, I was like, well, what do you have to say? I asked him for advice or what I should do or whatever, and he said you seem to have it under control. He said if I had anything to say as far as your writing goes, maybe using less words, or because a few of the songs feel a little rushed,
Right.
you know, and I feel like it's because of the music needed to be a certain tempo, but it just had a lot, like, and I do have a lot of words. Look at me still talking. Um, but what a nice bunch of fellas. I mean, they were really good, and we hang out after the sessions, and we just listen to fucking tunes, and he'd be like, listen to this part. You ever heard this? And he'd show me some like old Frank Zappa. He was listening to from old Frank Zappa and stuff like that, and just listen to. And I'm talking vinyls. We were listening to weren't we listening to vinyls? I'm almost positive we were listening to vinyls in the back of the studio. And I was like, wow. And it was amazing. And I was drinking beer back then and stuff. And yeah, I got really drunk, and we went back to the studio. I don't remember this, but my wife told me, "Do you remember what you did last night?" The next morning, I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?" And she said, "You spilt beer all over their nice couch in the lobby." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And it was a nice big house, and
Buttery
nice,
smooth.
yeah. Nice really nice studio though. I mean, really nice group of people, and just really down to earth, and just the players were amazing, and then I went in there and I played then a few songs on another part of the recording session. I got to go in there and play in the booth, play my acoustic and play my parts for it, and then go back into the booth and then obviously sing my part. Get the actual vocals down. And I also so then Brenda sung backup vocals in two songs, I think, "Where We Belong" and "I Miss You More." And then also hired a guy to sing backup. So there's a lot of backups on there, and he did a lot of the backups. So that was really cool too. And what was really neat is that back then, I don't think I could have done a lot of the stuff that was, like the backup vocals and stuff like that, but I could do that now, I think. I know I could. Um, but it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot being at that studio because they let me ask questions and I sat right there with it. You didn't have to be, I could have just not been there and they could have done it all without me, but I sat there the whole time and, helicopter parent over that whole project and just made sure that it was, I don't know, we were having fun and it was doing good,
I say it all the time, Scott. If you're going to go and pay somebody, you're going to go in a studio, you're paying that money, you better be sitting there learning as much as you can while you're there, because that is a missed opportunity, especially when you got session people and you've got all these professionals around. If you're walking out and just going, that's what I got for my money, it's like, then you messed up. And I'm so glad, like the best engineers, in my opinion, are the ones who tell you less, just do less of this one thing. I had somebody on here, Peter Northcote, who he's an engineer, amazing Australian artist, and I paid him not to record me. I just paid to go to his studio one day to play my music and get an opinion. And that was a lot of money. I was over $1,000, and he basically said, "You're doing too much." And I've never forgotten. It was the best money I ever spent, and came away with nothing, just advice. Right?
Yeah,
people forget how important advice is. Yeah.
Yeah, you made that $1,000 back though from that advice, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Absolutely.
And he came on my show years later. So
it's the same thing with It's the same thing with writing songs. It's always, you keep it simple. Less is more sometimes. And I have a really hard time explaining because I overthink. But man, when I get it, it works well. I think I'm pretty excited about some of the newer tunes I have for sure.
That's exciting. Let's play a song. Hold that thought, because we're running out of time, and we've got Pete Johns after me today, so I have to finish on time.
Okay, well, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's play this. This is called She Cries. You're going to love this, guys, if you haven't heard it before. It's a great track. Let's Oge.
She's been looking for another home, one that's lonely yet all her own. She's been searching up and down and all around, both night and day. She's been looking for another heart, one that's better, not broken apart, to help her hang on to what she knows or let go of what she don't. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. She's been looking for a guy that can fix all the problems that she knows she has. And she's been searching up and down and all around, both night and day. And she's been looking for some kind of sign to prove her wrong, to prove her right, to help her hang on to what she knows or let go of what she don't. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. She cries, there's nothing good left in this. She cries, there's nothing good left in this. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. She cries, there's nothing good left in this world. Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Boom. What a Fucking wild song that one is. Hi, James Myers. I see you creeping in there, my friend. And Pete Johns, what's going on? Pete says, where do I see it? I can't find it now. Pete says, now that's what I call professionals. They work for you, build you up, and make you better. There's not enough of that shit going on in the world right now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, what a great studio.
And what a great song, mate.
Oh.
That is a great song. I'll tell you what I really love. There's something... For me, it's a very personal thing. I get sucked into artists by a voice. And I'm a singer. I love it. Counting Crows, for me, that dude can do no wrong, right? Even though nobody knows anything they did since their first album. And I'm happy with that, right? Whatever. Stay away from my Counting Crows. But he has this voice. There's something in his voice that when he tells a story, I love a storyteller, that it breaks, the voice breaks and it cries. And in that song, you could hear that. You've got that break in your voice, that very hard to replicate, very hard to learn to do. You've either got it or you don't, I think. Great song. Great song.
Yeah, and that plays, oh, I got an echo.
Oh, shit, I forgot to turn it off. There we go.
That song that was a good song to play once we were talking about less is more sometimes, because that song is a great example of, songs come to you differently, and that's one of them that came to me. I played the little beginning part, and then a little intro, and it played that progression, and the words just came to me, and there's not a lot of words to it, and I think that's the point. I think that's why. I mean, a lot of people like that one, and I always felt weird about that one because there wasn't a lot of words, and I wrote that song in about 15 minutes. I wrote all the lyrics for it. There's not a lot of lyrics or whatever, but I wrote all of them, and it pretty much stayed the same from the beginning until now. I mean, I've got a little thing. I change up the little, the interlude in between, the big bridge, musical instrumental thing, and stuff like that. But for the most part, it stayed the same. So that's one of those examples where, if I would have kept messing with it, it wouldn't even be that song, and it probably wouldn't be as good. And I do that all the time. I'll make up stuff and I just mess with it till I just beat it to death, and then there's nothing left. So you gotta be careful doing that. But what a great experience, though. Those guys were great. That studio, yeah, I can't plug them enough. Fairly cheap. I mean, I was just looking at it. I'm pretty sure I figured out that. I mean, I say fairly cheap. This isn't cheap.
No, that is cheap. That's $800 for a session band. That's
$800 if you could do, and that's one song finished altogether.
That's amazing.
So if you want to do 10 songs, you're looking at, probably, you're going to end up spending probably at least 10,000, by the time it's over with. But the finished product is amazing. And like I said, I couldn't have, and I don't know that I think I've spent more, like, it was about $7. I think I ended up raising about $7,000, and they really worked. That's another thing too. They worked with me. They gave me a little bit more time. They gave me a little bit of a break, because normally it was like you paid so much and you had this many songs, but they worked with me and gave me a break because I was going to sing and play the songs myself anyway. So really I was just doing like just studio time, and it was just me in a booth. So I got a big break on that too. So it didn't cost me quite as much, but yeah. And because I've talked to some other local musicians that have went to Nashville and recorded in Nashville, and they had to put, liens on their house and businesses and stuff. I mean, they had to do a lot of stuff to go down there and really get a good recording. And I mean, I'm telling you, high quality, good people, good players, very experienced. I mean, you can't deny the fact that you can tell that, I have Nashville players on it. You can tell that it's how can I say? I mean, I feel like you can. I'm not, no disrespect or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not put a shadow on it. I just mean that it's, it's really good, and it takes, for it to be that spot on that fast, you have to pay to get that. You have to give up a little bit of soul, just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And what I like about it is that happened. But when I come into it, and especially if I could sing it like I sing now, if I could sing that album like I sing now, that would be great. But if I could, but added me to the mix of it, like, added all that, that more of the soul of it. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about my own album. Obviously, I think that it was amazing. I just, they're Nashville players. They're gonna do. You could tell that I'm not as much country as that, I guess, is what I'm saying, maybe. And you tell they're Nashville players, and they're studio musicians that are just wow, just
Yeah,
amazing.
but
I actually got the. I'm sorry, hold that thought. I just was gonna say I actually got to work with two different sets of musicians, so that was even better because I did it in two different sets, two different sessions or whatever. So it was really nice. I get to meet um, uh, 10 musicians probably, something like that. It was pretty nice.
the
But
thing
anyway,
is, you say that people would know that they're, you know,
right.
your music listening muggle could give a shit. Right? Maybe us. Maybe, I didn't hear. I didn't think that. I think I only knew that because I think I read or I heard you talking about it on one of your streams. I think. But I want to touch on because we're running out of time. But I've got two more questions to throw at you. There's some things I wanted to, but I want to talk about your Taylor, and this is still relating to your album. I assume, like you, like myself, and when you write your original stuff, like my stuff, Dread Circus, I write it all on an acoustic guitar and then go in and record it and fill it out with a band, right? So was this album written the same way?
Everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I write everything on acoustic. Yeah, everything. Yeah, my dad owned a video store back in the day, and when I first started playing, and that's what I would sit back behind the counter and just play on that acoustic. Yeah, that's what I've always done, and my fingers move really quick on an electric. If I get on electric, it's like me trying to drive a Ferrari. I drive a van. I drive a minivan. So if I got a Ferrari, I'd be out of control. So it's the same kind of thing. I get an electric in my hands, or just I'm pretty fast because I've built up all that muscle. But I'm reckless though. The strings bend and stuff. You know what I mean? Like holding on to like fingering chords especially if you try to do an open chord on an electric guitar, that's not the same as stringing fingering one on acoustic. But
I always
did
get
I
in
answer?
trouble for fingering. Ask Laurie. Sorry.
But yes, I write. Yeah, and I tend to write everything. To answer your question, I tend to write everything. Not only do I do that, write everything on acoustic, but everything almost always starts with like guitar.
Yep.
I try to mix it up a little bit, but almost every time, that's my songwriting process. I think I'll pick up the guitar and I'll just play something. I'm like, ooh, that sounds kind of cool. I wonder what I could sing over that. And the difference in how I write now and how I wrote before is that before I would make up the part and then I would immediately start singing over it and start trying to make up stuff and do all the stuff and everything. And I would worry about only cadence. I wouldn't worry about melody as much, but just the cadence of where the words are hitting with the beat. I like that kind of process of the songwriting, like how my words come across there, and that's because like Robert Plant, how he hits some stuff, or Tool, Maynard, the way he sings. Some of that stuff is really inspiring. Like, and that's where I go with that. Um, and So I forget about melody sometimes. So like back in the day, I would just do stuff, and I was like, something doesn't feel right. I couldn't figure out why, and I think I'm figuring it out now. I think. Um, but the yeah, I think I answered your question.
You sure did.
I could just ramble on forever.
Look, it goes fast. I told you at the start how fast will this go, man. It's flying. Um,
I
what
haven't
do you,
had time to be
what,
nervous.
what do you see? That's exactly what I want. What do you see in the next? Where do you want to see yourself by the end of this year? Let's keep it simple.
End of this year. Um, Gosh, by the end of this year, I hope to be gosh, I don't know. I I don't know how to say it. I think, well, I mean, I don't know if I don't know if it's so much as I hope or if like what I see happening. That's all thing, you get, I have my faith in what's going to happen. I have my hope. I see what's happening, and all things point toward that. I hope by the end of this year that when I start trying to book next year, that, first of all, it's harder to book me. Second of all, I'm going to be a little bit more selective about where I play and what I do, because I foresee by the end of this year, this online stuff is going to be something I want to do a lot. And I think it's going to be, I mean, it's something I love to do. I'm really digging it. And I like the fact that I can go play for 50 people, at a bar, or I can sit here and play for, potentially, hundreds.
Yeah.
Reach people that maybe never thought they would. They can't even leave their, some people, they don't leave their house. Maybe they can't, or maybe they don't want to, whatever. I can reach them, and everybody deserves, it's weird. I'll play in places sometimes, like in real life, and there'll be like 3 people there, and I play. I mean, I always play, and everybody always asks me and talks to me about it and questions me about it. I play like I'm at Madison Square Garden. I'm playing. This is my last show. I'm here to impress you, and I hope to God I hope you walk away changed. I want to change your life. I want everybody to feel like they've changed. When you walk out of I felt that way when I walked out of Forrest Gump. I felt like a changed person. I want you to feel like that. You felt inspired and just and fresh, and you went through some emotions. Because I feel like we go through it all. I go through some anger. I go through some sad. It's hard for me to get through some of those songs. Some of those songs I tear up. It's hard. It's really hard. Some of them are a lot. And once I get started, it's hard for me to reel it in. I'm a sensitive fella, I guess. I don't know, but
Don't change. All right.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and catch Scotty, he streams it's Tuesday, isn't it? There's your main streaming thing. He does, sometimes he does pop-up
that's
streams.
for consistent.
Appears with Axe and Nacho on Axe and Nacho's channel. And he's just going to be around. So go and subscribe, do all the stuff. Go and hit him up on streaming services. I showed you the album over on Apple. There's a link in the description that I made specifically for the show that takes you directly to all the places you can get Scotty's music through streaming services. So that's in the description. All these links are in the description. The final question I have to ask you before we pass over to Pete Johns and play your final song is, Scotty Butters, if somebody was deciding to become creative, take up music, whatever it is that they do, when would you suggest be the best time they start?
Oh gosh, immediately.
Correct. Thank you very much.
When you come out and the baby's got you upside down, smacks your butt, hands you a guitar.
Here's a guitar. Absolutely.
Tambourine or something. No, I think very early. I think it's very important because I think it works your brain in a way that nobody, it works your brain in a way that if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's really, I do believe that most people can do it. I think it depends on, maybe, I don't know. That's crazy, but I don't know. I think everybody can do it, at least to a certain to a certain level. And I also want to say real quick, thanks chat, and thanks to all the fans. I got this new camera that gives me trouble sometimes. I'm still learning. I can't do any of that stuff if it wasn't for them, and I can't believe how much it's overwhelming. I don't have the words, but please know that I couldn't be more grateful. Wow. And yeah,
perfect.
I just want to make sure to say it.
Perfect. Folks, I need to let you know of a few things. Tomorrow there is no Walk With Me, which is my usual weekly show. It was supposed to happen this week, but I was sick, so we couldn't get to I'm trying to find the thumbnail for what's happening tomorrow. I couldn't really get the show done because of my health. It will be back next week, but instead tomorrow on the show, we're taking a look at this. It's Dialect. It's an app for iOS. So just for a placeholder for this week, we're doing a live stream of a demo, and of course, happening on Saturday. Normally I do my creative hour where I make one song in an hour and you have to choose the genre, and all the pressure's on me and all that pain. But this week we're going to go back to doing the opening hour, and I will be performing my own live music for an hour after Thomas Christ and before Pete Johns. And you get to choose the songs I sing this week from my original music. Haven't done a sing for a while, so that should be fun. All right, folks. Thank you, Scotty Butters, for coming on the show. Pete Johns is up next. I'm going to dump you over there. He's talking about the new Logic update. It's heaps of cool. We're going to go out and play this track. Fuck, it's a banger, my friends. It is Diggin My Grave by Scotty Butters. Check him out on stage. You'll double take, all right? Thank you, Scotty. Please hang on the line so I can say goodbye to you off air. And,
absolutely.
all right, my friends, remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together. Stay awake, and let's ode to the awesome Scotty Butters, Diggin My Grave.
caught a flirt. I tipped that bottle up more times than I can count for sure. Well, I tell you that shit really got a nice firm hold, dragging me to the bottom of the lowest low. And I'm sure I'll never break these chains before that bottle get done digging my grave. It drowns many sorrows, a remedy for a fear, a crutch to most and a best friend to some when a head needs cleared. Well, some it brings a mean streak, like the gravity pulling down. I tipped that bottle up more times than I really care to count. Well, I tell you that shit really got a nice firm hold, dragging me to the bottom of the lowest low. And I'm sure I'll never break these chains before that bottle get done digging my grave. Tell you that shit really got a nice firm hold, dragging me to the bottom of the lowest low. And I'm sure I'll never break these chains before that bottle get done, before that bottle get done, before that bottle get done digging my grave.